Ciao a tutti dragoni, benvenuti, bentrovati per una puntata particolare in cui siamo qua per dare un nostro aiuto personale a Paolo di Fantasy Ground Italia per lanciare, diciamo un po' rilanciare il gruppo e il canale YouTube di Fantasy Ground Italia. E quindi stasera faremo una partita in cui massacreremo la lingua inglese e che dire, null'altro se non ricordatevi di iscrivervi, andate a vedere anche di iscrivervi poi qua sul canale di Fantasy Ground Italia, nel gruppo di Fantasy Ground Italia, e
ovviamente iscrivetevi anche a Streaming&Dragons, iscrivetevi su YouTube, iscrivetevi su tutti i canali.
Cesare is like my personal social media manager. I always forget to remember to subscribe. Okay, without further ado, I think we can start murdering the English language, and I will give room to Paolo. So Paolo, want to make some introduction to yourself, the channel, the Fantasy Ground, what's the group?
First of all, I would say welcome to Italy, to Brad Paulette, even virtually, but welcome to Italy. We hope to see you physically as well. It's not very close, but if you come to Italy, we are happy to host you. I live very close to Pompeii and very close to Amalfitane coast. So
very nice. Yeah. It's really honestly top of the list.
Yeah.
I mean, Pompeii there, you know. Wow. That must be so inspiring for you to live at such a site of mystery and adventure and potential catacombs and, you know, treasure and legend. That's incredible.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Cari amici e care amiche, cari fantasini e care fantasine, ci siamo. This evening has been a long time coming, finally. We are all together, joining with Fantasy Grounds USA, Smites Work USA. We have two guests from their own company. We have Paulette Anderson and we have Brad Pound. And Brad is not the guy with the blonde hair. He's the other one. Just so they don't confuse with each other, you know?
Just to be sure that.
Be sure about that. For tonight, we have something very particular plotted up. I will try to run in English for you all a very particular adventure, which is a little bit in my heart. The adventure's name is Hollow's Last Hope, but it's gonna be just a prelude because the adventure itself is too long to be able to run in only a couple of hours. And we're gonna use the Pathfinder for Savage World rule setting, which is quite particular and very interesting, something a bit different. I really hope that you enjoy, and I encourage you all to participate in the chat, ask questions, stress us out, and guide us wherever you want. We are listening to you. At least I think that Cesare and Flavio will be following and monitoring the chat of the channel, I hope.
Yeah, I'm on it.
All right.
Me too.
And that's it. I think that we could start. I would like, as it is customary, to start very quickly by asking which one of the characters, very briefly, to introduce a little bit, at least the class that they're playing and the name of their character.
Paolo, let's introduce you. Let's introduce also the Fantasy Ground Unity program, virtual tabletop that we use usually when we play online.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. Okay. We are playing with the Foundry.
We are playing with Fantasy Ground.
Fantasy Ground,
Unity.
And we'll use Fantasy Ground with the official module of Savage Worlds, Pathfinder Savage Worlds.
Pathfinder
so Paolo,
for Savage Worlds. Yeah.
Yes. So Paolo, okay.
Yeah, just a little bit, I would like to specify there are two versions of Fantasy Ground at the moment that are available for use. One is the so-called Classic, and one is the Fantasy Ground Unitevi. A little bit of more of a modern take to the Classic one. And this evening we're using the Unitevi one. Right?
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I might speak to that for a second. Like, Classic. Sure. Yeah, Classic did serve us like very well for a long time, and we, obviously had the Kickstarter for Unity, and all the goals of Unity were accomplished some time ago. We've continued to develop and support it, and great new things are coming. But last summer we did suspend support for Classic, going forward. So Unity really is your option right now for Fantasy Grounds, and there's no better time to get in ahead of the features that are soon to be coming. But speaking of Pathfinder for Savage Worlds as well supported on the Fantasy Grounds store, archetypes, adventures, and the core rule set, all from Pinnacle. Just fantastic work there. And check it all out, fantasygrounds.com/store.
One thing, if I may add, that it's a bit going under the surface, that there's always also the Fantasy Ground Forge.
Indeed.
That it's something that many may or may not know that it exists. But for example, and I've also noticed that sometimes you implement some of the features in the core rules. For example, I've noticed that the calendar. The calendar was an extension some times ago, and now it's part of the core rule sets.
Yeah, I love that. I can speak to that for a moment. The perception may be there for that. Extensions do come in, and Fantasy Grounds is well supported by extensions. On the Forge, just so well supported by extensions. But whenever something does come to Fantasy Grounds, it is built from the ground up by our development team. So there isn't any migration of extensions from the Forge to Fantasy Grounds. But yes, our community answers the call, ahead of our development team, sometimes because there's so many new things, dice packs, things that have been teased that I won't throw more oil on the fire right now because everybody's enthusiastic for it. But very high priority development takes place, and we really appreciate the extension community, answering that call for both themselves and for others. So thank you for speaking to that. I really appreciate that.
No problem. I'm an old-time user of Fantasy Ground. They're very old-time.
We are, yeah. We are.
Awesome.
We all are. And one of the things that initially attracted me to Fantasy Ground, I started with Classic a long time ago, was the price range of your modules, which is actually very competitive comparing to the physical books and even some other VTT, I would say. That's
very good.
Yeah. And originally, just throws into the idea that this adventure was written for Pathfinder, and if I understand correctly, if you have some Pathfinder PDF already in your account, you can get some discount to the Fantasy Ground module of it.
Yes, you just link your accounts, the Paizo and the Fantasy Grounds accounts, and it'll come up to the cost of the PDF.
Yeah, that's good. And also this bears saying that both the Steam version and the one that you download from your own website, they work together completely 100%. There's no problem with that. So everyone can choose which one they prefer. That's so.
Love that. Yeah, Steam is a great platform. We really enjoy our relationship with them and their marketplace. So thank you for referencing that as well.
All right.
Paolo,
all right.
May I ask you to give us a really, really brief reminder of the rules for Savage Worlds? Because I remember two things. 4-up is a success, and the better you are in a skill or attribute, the bigger the dice you get. That's all I remember. And also,
which is the use of the bennies.
The use of the bennies. Okay.
All right. So basically, this is the basic rules. You need a 4 or a more to succeed, depending on which die you roll. The highest your skill is, the higher your die is. So if you are very good, you have a 12. If you are not so good, you only have a 6 or maybe a 4. We will check it out on your own characters when we start to roll. Every characters that you are playing are rolling with their own dice, also a so-called wild die, which is something that gets added to the regular die that you will otherwise roll, giving you more chances to achieve that number 4 that everybody wants to achieve. That's about it. Bennies can be used basically to reroll traits, to reroll also damage in combat, or to recover some spells point in case you are a caster, like Seoni in this adventure is, for example. But don't worry too much about that. Every time that we are faced with a challenge, I can guide you through that and we will solve it out together, or most likely not solve it out, because even that is the fun of role-playing, isn't it? If you not really succeed. By the way, let's get into this, because I would like to introduce a little bit the town of Falcon Hollow. Let me share a very nice map here for you all. The town of Falcon Hollow is in a state called Andorran, which is on the southern part of the northern continent on Golarion, the world of Pathfinder setting. Andorran, the state, is usually quite important part of the world, because it is one of the first parts of Golarion when really there came real freedom and democracy. A little bit more modern age comparing to the usual Middle Age setting in which we usually play. But Falcon Hollow is not one of those places. Falcon Hollow is still one of those awful small villages where people work 15 hours a day, they are overtaxed, and they seem to have no way to get out of this difficult life. And you, 4, have been lured to this small town with the promise of finally starting again something new in your life, for different reasons. But that was the idea. It didn't take a long time for you to understand that in truth it wasn't exactly as it was advertised or portrayed. Okay?
Okay. Do we know each other, or I assume so?
I assume that you can just a little bit speak about who character you are playing, and at least your name, so that everybody...
But our characters know each other, or...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It's simple like that.
Okay. Already established.
Yes.
Who wants to go first?
You go.
Okay. My name is Harsk. Let me try to set up my dwarven voice. So I'm a scruffy, a little man with bulging muscles and love for the wilderness. Not the man you should talk to if you want to get out of a social encounter. I'm a bit rough on the edges, but I have a keen eye for tracks, for living in the outer wilds, and what else? Oh,
You hate beer.
No.
Yes.
I hate beer.
And you drink only tea.
That's something that hurts me in a spiritual way. Okay. Are you joking, right?
No, it's on your character sheet.
Haha.
It's written there.
You are hurting my dwarven soul. Okay. Okay. Well, Okay. And oh god, I hate beer. And for what I can tell, I am the only male in this adventuring party. So, ladies, wants to go next?
Well, as the only melee
Not-
character,
Yeah.
I'm glad that you're going to be sober. That's good, because we're going to put you to work there, I'm sure. Seoni is a sorcerer, and she was born into a nomadic tribe and is driven by dreams to learn more about her magical heritage. She's full-time seeking arcane knowledge and power, and accompanied by a small blue-tailed dragon named Dragon, according to this character sheet. So while she's very capable of visualizing arcane power, not very creative in the proper nouns. So, but charming. A blue-tailed dragon kicking along. This is gonna be a lot of fun. Thank you.
Yeah, she's very peculiar because she has so many tattoos on her body, and she draws her magical energy from the tattoos.
Just one thing that I've noticed looking now at the sheet. I'm a ranger, not a melee one. So I'm using a crossbow, just to be clear.
Okay. But you also have an axe in case of need.
There's always a need for an axe. Okay.
Yes. Thank you, Brad. Bello.
Okay. I play Amiri, a barbarian female. I fight for my honor, and I have a giant bastard sword with which I used to kill my enemies and all the people who speak against me and my tribe. So please be quiet.
Amiri has one particular thing. Her bastard sword is oversized for her. It was wielded by a giant that she killed in a single fight, so it's really
Yeah.
himself.
Like
Strong
berserk.
something like that.
I love
And
it.
you love that one. Should we go to the character of Paulette?
Well, the Paulette playing the character of Elven rogue Maricel. We don't talk about my family.
We never do that.
No.
All right. So, the day seems to be going quite easy. The weather is also particularly nice today. It is a very beautiful summer day. The air is quite hot and warm. And it is making you feeling completely a cognitive dissonance in between the idea of how this place is and the beautiful day which is going on around you. There are 3 children that are playing on the corner of one street. They look a little bit like this. All of a sudden, you do notice that they seem quite intent. Have we lost Brad?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now he's back.
First full.
Don't worry. They actually seem quite intent in focusing on the 4 of you and try to figure out exactly who you are, what you're doing, fight Resolve, and maybe even trying to find the courage to come to approach you. Does anybody of you want to do something about that? Or are you just waiting to see if and what they will do.
Man up, you three. Come on over. What do you want?
Okay. They look at each other,
We don't have money.
and then they look at each other, and then the young child with the white shirt comes first, and comes next to you, and he says, "My name is Rento. In a different language, it means relaxed. But Rento for you means something else. It's time to pay your rent to me. I demand at least 2 copper coins." And the other 2 kids over there, they seems to be pushing each other with the elbows, saying, "Look, he did it for real. He dared to do it. Wow."
I think he's playing with us. I don't think he has any authority. Really, Rento. Well, first of all, do we have residents here?
No. We just arrived. And yet
Okay.
immediately have noticed how bad the situation is. A couple of days you've been here.
Okay, so I play along. I'm like, Rento, I'm afraid we'll have to see some credentials.
I am the son of the judge. Is that credential enough?
No.
It's not.
I look at all the rest of the group and are really ready to win this? Okay. I don't have your copper, but I can pay you with something I caught. And I bring out a dead squirrel. And I place the dead squirrel in front of the child.
Okay. They slowly start to come a little bit more closer, getting a little bit of a confidence, and in a certain way, still in awe about Reto having dared to come to talk to you so openly. And the first thing that they do is they introduce a little bit themselves. And the little girl says she has really a clubhouse in the picture, you know. She seems to be the tough one of the group, and she says that I don't want to tell you my name, but here you can call me Misty Rain. I made a rhyme, did you see? Name, Misty Rain.
Wow.
Yes, good, eh?
Love it.
And I am the daughter of the sheriff.
No, this is a
And
family racket.
Like I'm the last guy.
Oh, the sheriff, not the
sheriff, yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, I am the daughter of the sheriff.
Yeah.
I'm the other guy, the one who's a bit more chubby, said, "Hey, you can simply call me Ernestello. I like to sing. And I am the son of the town drunk.
Hey,
We are all
Very
very
good.
important here. Yes.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Then suddenly, the girl actually sneezes quite hard between her hands. And the guy says, "That's why we call her Misty Rain." You can clearly see the spray coming out from her hands. It's quite disgusting, but that is what happens. Misty spray. And that's it. So I said, "You have just come here to the town. We've been following you for a couple of days, but you have not noticed it as. I'm sure about that."
I don't
Nice.
believe. No.
There is something that I think you might actually be interested about. Would you like to follow us? It's something so cool. We didn't say that to anybody. We were hoping to discuss it with you. If you can give us 2 copper coins each. Not much.
What about the squirrel?
I have a better idea. How about you take us to your father?
I'd rather introduce you to the job that I had in mind. What do you think? Maybe it was not so much a good idea to involve our father in this, except for my father.
What about the sheriff? Well, we can get him involved. I think
Well-
that would be even better idea.
Okay, is it really necessary?
Oh, I think so.
All right. Okay, so I think that we would just leave and maybe we will.
No. I want to see what they got going on. I mean, truthfully,
All right.
you know.
Let me just.
Paolo, can I call for a BS check? What is notice? I want to see if my character thinks they are trying to set up us for an ambush or something like that.
Yes, so this is a good example of a simple roll. If you go to your character sheet under the tab traits, you will see actually a notice check.
Notice check.
Yes. You have a D6 on it. You just drag the D6.
I don't care.
In the meanwhile, I look for the Rento. I look to Rento, and I say to him, "Hey, Rento, do you really want 2 copper coins? So clean my boots,
Okay.
and you will gain it."
Actually, let's go in order. As you can see, you have a roll A4, so that is enough to succeed. So, what you understand from this interaction, it seems quite clear that these children actually do want to involve you with something, and it's at the same time they don't really want to involve their parents because they realize that it's been the wrong attitude, starting by saying my father is the sheriff, my father is a judge, and then they try to do something a bit sneaky, so not so smart.
What I'm trying to discern is are they jovial or malicious?
No, it's all in good humor.
Okay.
Nice, because to answer to what Lello just said, actually, in my boot, he said, "Oh yes, definitely you need some soap."
Okay.
I look at him. You are very courageous.
Courageous.
Brave. I like this. You will have 1 copper coin for this from me.
Okay. I will show you. Come with me. So, on the map of Falcon's Hollow, I'm pointing out this building over here on the street.
Okay.
The Roots and Remedies, yes. Which is actually just as a quick explanation, it is very useful to use pointers to mark points on the map in Fantasy Ground. It's the best way to do it. You can also do many other different things like squares or even circle if you want to point out a place in particular. So they move there to this particular shop that goes by the name of Root and Remedies, and it becomes clear immediately that it is some sort of herbal shop by the smell of it and also by the wares that are exposed outside of the shop. They tell you, there is a nice lady in there that she's been moaning and complaining for the past week about some sort of crucible, some sort of chaos. I don't have any idea what she's talking about, but I'm sure that if you find out, you can easily find something to do, you will get paid for that, and then we can get a little bit of money as well from what you have done. We are surely not able to carry on an adventure. We are just children, we understand that. Hey, but money is good also for us. So if you can get something to do, get some money out of it, and then remember us as the one who has helped you to get the job, we will be very happy. If you can reward us a little bit with that. This is a difficult place. Everybody needs a bit of money to go on.
No.
I've never had a little patron. Like I'm kind of considering it. That's pretty cool. Like a child patron. Yeah. I mean,
I respect that they are so young, but they are also learning their ways into this world, and they have catch up really quickly how this world works.
I said he's very brave.
Hey, do you tell all of this in front of them?
Yeah, sure.
Do you find these jobs quite often?
All right.
You have you obviously have the ear to the sheriff, and you hear about things coming up like this quite often, I suppose.
Actually, no. This
No.
is so boring place. Nothing ever happens. People work 15 hours a day. Then they go to sleep. Then they wake up, go to work, come back 6 days and a half a week, and that's it. It's really boring in here. So,
Okay.
in a certain way, I don't know if we can call it a coincidence or maybe some higher being like the paladin always says that comes here every now and then, that you came here exactly when we got a hold of this news. It's good. It will be, and then the small girl, Misty Rain, says, it will be actually a pity to let these opportunities slide, since they don't happen so often. And you seem the perfect match. You are strong. You stink like warrior even, looking at Amiri.
Oh.
And then we had never had a halfling like you, looking at Harsk in the town. So we were very happy to see somebody that is of a different race. We always heard a story about halfling.
No. You were going so well. Not an halfling.
Well, you are not an elf. You are not
I am a
human.
dwarf.
Yeah, those
And I'm
exist
digging a
only in
hole.
the stories. Those exist only in the stories, you know. You think you can fool me like that? I will not fall for this trick. You are a halfling. Everybody knows that halfling has long beard, hairy feet.
We are wasting our time.
I'm watching
Should enter.
Mariciel, Mariciel. He's fooling me, right?
I don't know. They may have never seen a dwarf before.
Do I
You
look
don't
like
like
an
notice
halfling?
it.
Oh, for the gods.
Do you want to try another notice roll?
Me?
Yeah.
Okay.
The hate is equal.
Yes, another one.
Yeah, that's good. So, no, they really think that you are a halfling. They have no concept of what a dwarf should look like. Clearly, it is a very backward part of the world. Not many people pass by.
Okay.
They heard stories of dwarves and they think that you're a halfling.
Listen, young one. You have Harsk's word, and I will show you that a dwarven word is not like an halfling word. We'll get some money out of this job, and you'll get your fair price. And your fair share.
Let's go. So, they point you in and
An halfling.
they get you.
Come on,
into
Mr. Halfling, let's go in.
Into the shop. It's very easy to get in. It is empty. Zero. There is just one lady behind the counter, and she's quite old. She's like of a very dark complexion of the face, clearly not from around here, and possibly not even from this continent. She raises up her eyes when she sees you coming. At the beginning, she doesn't immediately put you into focus, and then she seems to realize after a couple of seconds that you are not the usual customer, the pupil, that you are some stranger new in town, or new in the village, I would rather call this place. She looks... Hey, my name is Laurel. Nice to meet you. Everything is for sale? Are you interested in something in particular?
We heard you might have a job.
Okay, wait a second. She goes to the front, she closes the door. She actually then bolts it up and said, "Those 3 children, where are they, those?" Actually, as it happens, it is actually true. I am looking for something to be done quickly and without any pain. And it was a bit of a headache because people in this small village, they all talk a lot and they all talk to each other, and almost impossible to do something without everybody knowing what is going on. So I was really hoping for something like this, and you can see that the relief comes a little bit out from her body. She seems to be relaxing a bit more, and she tells you, come to the back. She comes to the back, she opens the door and said, "Now, I don't really know you, I don't even know what your names are, and I don't even know if I can trust you, but I do not have much of a choice, and in a certain way I hope that money can be trusted, because if I hire you, you will get your money, be sure about that." On the back of the shop, there is a cover by a tarp, a sort of a quite big shape that is looking like a sort of a triangle on the top, but the base is like a smallish square, something like maybe 40 centimeters wide. She takes out the tarp and she tells you, "Look at this. This is the Crucible of Chaos. No, don't worry about that. It's nothing scary. It's not dangerous. It is nothing. But it has been an invention by the gnome. You take some text, something written, some sort of paper or book. You put it inside, and the machine is capable of reimagining it and putting out something new. You see? Now, I am in a bit of a pickle with some relatives from north, quite far away. And, well, without getting into details, I owe them quite a lot of money. And I'm unable to extricate myself from this debt. And I was thinking that one of the ways to be able to do this is publishing a new book, The Crucible of Chaos. Now, you need to understand... Yes, you need to understand that not everything in particular works with the Crucible of Chaos. You know, you can see that there is this sort of things. You can fit paper inside it, and then you have this kind of wheel that you turn it like that. In particular, what I'm looking for you. Oh my God, it's a very complicated word. Let's try if I can picture it out. It's called the Ogre Glitter Liturgy. You know what is an ogre? Have you ever heard about this beast? They are quite big and they are usually quite tall. Ogre. Never heard about an ogre?
Yeah, it's a kind of giant.
Yeah, about that, but a little bit more cruel than a giant, you see.
And well, the glitter?
The glitter is actually the nickname of one particular ogre that used to live around here several decades ago. And he wrote this liturgy, which is exactly what I am in need for this particular machine, the Crucible of Chaos, to work.
I'm not sure I understand. Ogre wrote a
liturgy.
A liturgy?
Yeah.
Yes.
An ogre?
Ogre, yes.
Do we know anything?
Stupid? No.
Well, you know, even usually, not always barbarian are, but you can write and read, I assume.
Oh. I don't seem to. I understand exactly what he said. She said.
Okay. Yes.
Anyway, I look around.
And now here comes the most difficult part of it. We need to find out where this liturgy is.
Okay. Just to point out. Oh, right. Okay. Go, Bra.
Okay, yes.
One liturgy. And actually,
So
it is
can
not
I?
even, it is not.
If I understood correctly, you want to make money out of ogre poetry. So what's
Something like that.
a child book?
I don't know what the Crucible of Chaos will put out. I have no idea. I have no idea absolutely. But in the past, when I have been able to make it work properly, it did give indeed amazing result. So I have no doubt that even this time it will work.
The coin
the
is
gnomes
yours.
do their things.
Now, do you have to put the content in, or is it producing content of its own accord?
It is a very simple mechanism, you see. Basically, I take the Ogre Glitter Liturgy, which is actually not that big. It should be about, I would say, a couple of pages, maybe, of a scroll, something like that. I inputted it into the Crucible of Chaos. Let it work. Let it work. Let it work, you know. Turning the wheel, turning the wheel, turning the wheel. What happens, if you can also be present when this happens, you will see that all these letters will be cut into small pieces. All the letters will be made pieces. And then, after that, I am just, that's not difficult at all, I'm just inputting on the top, putting inside the Crucible of Chaos, something that my grandmother made, so sort of a paste. I don't have a name for that because only I produce it. I got the recipe, pasted it, leave it there for the whole night. The day after, when I pick it up on the paste, on the proper amount, there is the new version of the thing that I would like to produce.
Okay.
Is she joking with us?
Would you? Oh, sorry.
Is she joking with us?
If
you
you are
serious?
not sure about that, you can find a notice check. If you are not sure about
No,
if
I will
she's
not.
being
Would you?
I don't
Would
trust
you
it.
be producing any magic works on this in the future?
I have
Like-
no idea.
Okay.
What I know is that the Ogre Liturgy can be used in this particular Crucible of Chaos because when the Ogre brought down his own liturgy, he did use the same paste that my grandmother did, so they're in a certain way connected. So it doesn't work that I just take some piece of paper, put it inside and something that come out. There needs to be some sort of connection somehow, otherwise it will be worth much
So can you
more.
can you duplicate scrolls?
No, I cannot duplicate scrolls. It's automatically, totally random whatever comes out when I input some text.
At
Well,
least
not
it's a
random.
Crucible of Chaos.
Yeah, but it isn't random in the way that we don't know whatever comes out, but it always makes sense, and sometimes it could have been some short poem for children, some other time it was a quite short, actually, epic story about a warrior, something else always comes
Okay,
out
so
with meaning.
okay, so it's an automatic writing machine. You're just dropping in letters. I love it. Okay.
So where do we find this ogre?
But that is the point and the problem of it. The ogre, I have no idea where he is, but it's not really important. Because according to my sources, the liturgy is now owned by what we call the city wolf.
And that's an actual wolf, a title. What is that?
That is something that is still up to contention. I personally think that it's a werewolf. Somebody on the contrary thinks that it is actually a druid that can shapeshift into a wolf. What everybody knows is that he's quite a dangerous being. I have here something that might interest in you. And then she shared a small map that she had behind the counter. So she said, here is Falcon Hollow, as you can see.
Hmm?
And these small stars, that you see on the road, they're just lumberjack mills. We don't need to go there. Yeah, those ones.
Okay.
Where you need to go is here. I have signed this on the map for you. There is a very old shack over there. It's quite abandoned. Been there for a long time. And this is where the city wolf resides when he's not creating havoc around the woods. It's not gonna be easy, but who knows, you might also be lucky and you can trick him into giving it to you without having to fight him. I don't know. We will discuss about price.
Yes.
What about a percent? Yeah.
No, dicevo, guardavo. Sorry, I'm looking at Merisiel when he starts to talk about money.
I myself, it has been a while since I saw an ogre, so very interested in that. Let's do it.
Let's see. So it's a book. An ogre had it, and now a werewolf might have it. Great.
Yes, the city wolf.
Do we know anything about werewolves?
Common sense check. And this is now a good moment to try out another rule about the Savage World, which is basically you can support each other, giving a bonus to the one who has to roll.
See?
Even if it is not combat, even during regular checks. And it does not have to be the same thing that the one is going to roll. For instance, in this case, it is going to be a common knowledge check. Common knowledge. So the sensitive things to do is to check out who has the highest common knowledge die, and all the other can try to support the one who rolls also by using other things. For example, academic or occult.
Survival.
Yeah,
for
I was
example.
thinking about using survival too.
Yeah, me too.
Yes, okay, but you need to justify how you are supporting it. And then you can roll if you get at least a 4, then the other one will get a +1 at the end.
So I assume we first find who has the highest common knowledge.
Yes.
I have 4.
4?
Brad?
You are our man. You are the man.
6?
I have 6.
Okay.
6. So in this case, Seone will be the one who has
Okay.
a 6.
And you just want that in the chat or in the tower?
But I guess that before we have to roll it to see if we give you a +1 each one.
Yes.
Each of one.
That's how it works. So,
Okay.
Oh,
I roll that, or it sounded like it was a group thing? I'm sorry.
No. You roll the common knowledge after we see if we can give you a +1 supporting your skill check.
So what do we roll for to figure that out?
We have to justify what we are using. So if you want to use stealth, you have to say how your knowledge in stealth can help you with this roll.
Okay.
Oh, I would use thievery because I steal knowledge all the time.
okay. You can try to do that, yes.
I would like to use survival.
Okay.
For my travel in woods and tracks, maybe, and remember about legends about werewolves.
Right.
Since I don't want to double down on survival, maybe I'll try okay, maybe I'll try shooting because I've always tried to find the better place where to place my balls when shooting for a game, and maybe in one of these my researches, I found something about werewolves.
All right. Let's see how it goes. Who wanna go first to see if they can give a
Did you
help?
Okay.
All
Nice.
right.
It's a +1.
Yes.
And
Oh!
no. Yes.
Plus
So
2 in total.
+2.
+2.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, now, you guys asked me about common knowledge, but am I required to use common knowledge for this particular check?
What else would you like to use?
Well, I thought that I might use notice, simply because while I've been like pretty go get it, like in this session, there, one of my traits is like hesitant, and so I want to just start playing that up just a little bit more. Or one of my hindrances is hesitant, and so I just wanted to be, very watchful and somewhat anxious, like even like having some dialogue and taking comfort from my blue dragon. Like, so I wanted to use notice in that way.
That sounds good to me. Of course you can use
Okay.
notice.
All right, so I'm gonna drop 2 in the modifier.
Yes.
And would you like that notice check in chat or in the tower?
You can roll it in clear in chat, no problem.
All right.
Wow, went very well.
I'm sorry.
So that was-
Double click. Yeah, there you go.
Amazing.
Perfect.
In any case, no, that's very good because you need. I don't know if you remember that in this particular rules setting, every time that you double up on the 4, it is an extra success. So 8, 12, 16 will be called a raise. So
Okay.
you will have succeeded with a higher degree. But in this case, you really do not need to do that.
Okay.
All right. All right. So ask the question that you wanted to ask, and let's see the answer that you are getting from me.
But okay. It was about werewolf. So, Brett?
Well, so this is about the druid. It's a druid shapeshifter, right? I mean, tell me more of his power and legend. Was it a he or is it a woman? Do you know? Is it a woman or
You realize that it's a he. It's
Okay.
a male. It's a male. Yes, and
Okay.
it is almost impossible to state if it is actually a shape-shifting druid or some other sort of shape-shifter, or if it is just a regular werewolf.
Has
or
the wolf
some-
been seen?
The wolf has been seen and heard also quite often in the woods. He is called the wolf of the city wolf, because he used to make regular raids inside Falcon's Hollow before they were able to basically injure him enough that he didn't dare anymore to come. But that was quite a long time ago. So about
Where was this injury sustained? Like where was it wounded?
Yes, the injuries.
Where?
They don't. Yes, the injury. They don't know where they were sustained, but they did find so much amount of blood that they have deemed that he's been injured, most likely permanently. And that is another thing that this rule set has. You can get permanently injured. Since then, he has been kept away from the town on Falcon's Hollow, and he's been seen mostly around the wood only, as in the map that I showed you. That said, he is
Do you
known
know
to
if there's
reside-
anyone in the village that goes and sees him?
No. At least nobody that does so in the clear, because he's not a nice person. But for all that you know, since the last time it was seen in the city so many years ago, it could also already be dead. There are only some tales, some stories coming from the woods, and the millers and the loggers and the lumberjacks of the woods that talk still about him, and they swear that they have seen him every now and then during the night. But is he even the same person? They don't know. That's a little bit the situation of this.
You were talking about money.
Yes.
What's the reward?
I will be very open with you. I'm not a woman of many means, but still, I think that 50 golden pieces each I can afford to scrounge up, which is not a bad salary for what is most likely a couple of days of your time. 2 difficult days, but only 2 days.
It seems reasonable.
Yes.
So, are we in?
What about if I wanna trust you? I'm gonna give you straight away half of it, and half when you return to me the ogre with the liturgy.
That's
Most
fine.
generous.
for me.
Most
Okay.
generous.
Out of curiosity, can you make truth serums and put it in candy?
If I can make what?
Truth serum and put it in a candy.
That
Truth.
is a novelty idea that I actually have never heard before. I need to think about that.
Yeah,
People
think
have a
about that because
potential.
I'd love to feed it to those kids.
Yeah, actually, they are a bit nosy, but in a certain way, well, they don't have a easy life going on in here, so I tend to cut them some slack whenever I can. You know, I said one of them is the son of the sheriff, which is one of the few good person of this town.
So it's true. What he said.
He does not have him easy, so the other one is unlucky. His father is the beggar, the drunk of the town, and not nice.
So,
The third is the son of the judge. Or the
Yeah,
daughter of the judge?
no.
Ah.
The judge is a halfling. A real halfling because
does he look like
the problem.
anything like me?
No, he does not look at all like you.
She was joking you.
Or maybe he's a bit. But actually, you did pass a roll, so he wasn't actually kidding you. He's just maybe, as you can see from the picture, not 100% okay.
Okay.
In any case, yes, the judge. It's only one judge, and it's a halfling, and therefore he cannot be the, daughter.
Okay. So
So
it's 100 gold pieces up front.
yes, up front.
Up front. Do you mind? Do you want to roll if we can buy something? Do you have anything in mind? I was thinking about maybe if there are healing potion due to our group that has no healer.
There is no healer, that's true, but they are quite expensive. Actually, they do come at 150 GP each. I have just checked that out, but if you can manage to roll a persuasion check, you can maybe get off with 100 GP. But it needs to be.
Not me.
I
Not
have
me.
a 6 in persuasion.
4? Persuasion?
Does anybody want to?
No.
Not very good.
Do you want to try? I have. Do we have any gold on us? Yeah, I have 34 gold
No,
pieces.
If you make these potions, you really should give one to each of us to make sure we're safe. That way we can get there and get this and bring it back to you. If we get hurt on the road, we'll never bring it back and you'll lose out.
Do you know what I can do? I cannot give them out for free, but I can give them to you at cost. 75
would be-
GP. 75 GP, that's what it cost me to make them. 75, the half of that, which is already very good.
Very fair. Very fair.
One, or do you want to pile up for one more? I have 34 gold pieces.
I don't need it.
Good,
Okay.
so you're the wolf fodder. Great. We don't need it. We
One.
push you forward.
Just one. Just one.
All right, if I want, I can quickly take a look at your party sheet and see how much golden pieces you have in total.
9.
Okay, you have 96 in total.
Okay.
So if you want 4 of them,
No, 4 is unaffordable.
No.
Unaffordable.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can't
I
do
was
it.
thinking 2 at most. 2 at most, but
150.
but I will say 1. I don't want to embark in an adventure that gives me less money than what I had from the beginning.
Right.
Yeah, I respect that. I like that. Yeah.
Are you just getting one? out
One.
of-
Okay, one.
One healing
All right.
potion.
Okay. That will be actually a very interesting time to take a look at how the party sheet work, which is a feature that I feel is not used enough.
It's very useful.
Not in my campaigns. I use it a lot.
Yeah.
All
me too,
right.
Me too.
Okay. So I have put it in the party sheet, and then let's see who wants to have it.
Who wants to have it?
I suggest Marisol or the sorcerer.
I'll gladly take it.
Yeah.
For us, please. No, not for me. I will not use it. I'm sure I will not use it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, right. And so it goes. And there is still 25 GP left, which we can distribute equally to the party.
Nice.
All right.
How long it takes to go to the place?
According to the map, it's about 8 miles. Therefore, it should take around 3 hours of proper trekking.
Okay.
Now, I think it's up to you to decide if you just wanna take a risk and live there, knowing that you will not come back before dark. It's impossible. If you wanna just live the day after and do all the trip during the daylight.
Okay. So tomorrow. Flavio, I think it's your microphone that
Sorry.
makes some noise. Yeah. It's okay.
Okay. Sorry.
You will never be forgiven.
I thought it was snack time for my dragon.
Is it really a dragon? I think I remember it was actually a skink. A skink.
Okay. Sorry. Well, that's good because I was about to try to ride it. So, but crush it.
A skink called a dragon. And I remember because
Okay,
I
got
had
it.
to look up what skink mean. I never heard that word before. So
Thank you.
We have
You're
those
welcome.
all around where we live.
okay, that's nice. Does anybody call them dragons? All
Atar.
right, ladies and gentlemen, if you wanna sleep up for the night,
Yeah.
get ready for the day after.
Yeah.
You are haunted. You are haunted down by the kids
No.
when you get back to the tavern, which is actually quite a storied place, and you are forced to sleep on the common room. They don't have at the moment any. They don't seem to have any single or double room at all. So it's not really a nice place. But the kids are asking for their share.
I'll go to the kids and let's see how much I can give them. We get 50 more pieces to divide from. Okay.
1 and 2 copper each.
Yeah, I was giving them more, like 5. They are 3.
We're doing 3.
They are 3.
3,
Yeah, let's do 3 silver pieces now, and I'll give them from out of my pouch.
Okay.
Out of my purse. So 3 silver now. Okay, I'll give you, and 3 more once we get back, and we get paid. So
they pay.
Only if they say that you are a dwarf and not an elfling.
just to remember the difference between an elfling and a dwarf. I live by my word.
Yes. All right. So, in this setting, the daily pay for unskilled labor is 1 silver piece. Therefore, you have just given them quite a lot of money. They're very happy.
Yeah.
They've never seen so much money all at once, and they're all over you now. They
did. They are part of their job. They procured as the quest. So
yes, they did. A very simple thing to do, but it brought them a little bit of benefits as well. Right, so the day after is again another very nice, bright morning, and as you wake up, you already notice that most of the people of the town are already starting their daily march to go to work, to cut woods, and to prepare timber and for the lumber industry that is endemic to this place. You assume that
I suppose I'll take the lead of once we get out of the town to try to make an easier stride across the wilderness.
Yes, you have a very good survival check skill, and the thing is that you assume that you can reach the place in about 3 hours and a half, maximum 4 if you have to go around some creeks or small rivers. But please, by all means, you can roll me a survival check and see how this is going.
I would like to make also a survival check when we are close to the place. So to look for tracks or other signs of wolves and other animals.
Right, so in this case, you prefer to have 2 separate checks than to support each other. All right. What about Mariziel and Sione? Anything they want to do?
I would support, my thievery skill, check or, making sure, I guess it would be notice skill, that there's no traps or things that will impede our progress.
Sounds good to me. Very good. Very nice. Okay.
Did I need to call one too, or it doesn't matter?
It's an extra plus.
Oh, sweet. Beautiful. Carry on.
Okay. Oh, a critical.
Exploding dice.
Exploding dice.
Yes.
2 raises.
Yes. And
another, a double, a triple.
It's clear that you are from Smiteworks. It's clear. Never happened.
Loaded dice is clearly loaded dice.
That was incredible.
McFlavio, is anybody home? McFlavio. Amazing roll.
Wow. Like, explain that to our viewers. Like, whenever you get the top result on both die, it keeps exploding. yeah, like you could probably do a little bit better than I can, but that was epic. Twice in a row.
Yeah.
It is enough that it goes to the top of one dice and it keeps on repeating. In this case, it happens to both dice, but they don't get sum up together. They still take the best of the rolls. So if you roll a 6 and a 6, and then you roll a 3 and a 4, you take the 10. But it was really very good. It happened 3 times, and
unbelievable.
yes, this is actually one of the good sides of this rule set, that with a roll like that, if it was damage, the person in front of you will be already gone with 1 round of combat. Players like this swingy side of Savage Wars. All right, but it is so good, dear friends, that I will let you know in advance that indeed, while you are on the way to the shack where the city wolf will be, you do notice that in the middle, on the side of the small road, it's like a sort of a pit, but it does not seem a pit that has been done by some man. It seems some sort of animal has burrowed in, because it is very jagged and full of edges, so it's a bit suspicious. And I should not say who should check this out, but definitely with the good roll that you did, it should be handled with care, with cautions, because it is not unknown for predators to be hiding in these kind of places and then jump out.
Can I send my skink down, Dragon? Can I send Dragon down to search?
Yes, you can. And
All
like
right.
that, you suddenly...
I gave her a little kiss on the head first, and then send it down. So I don't know if I'm gonna see it again.
Oh,
Mhm.
Yeah,
There you go.
You can never know if you see him back or not.
Right.
All right. You can see that he's basically going very quickly and dodging all the stones that were on the path. Then puts his small nose and peers inside. Goes back, and immediately, as soon as he gets free from the danger, you see an explosion of fur and legs and spindly legs, and spiders come out from here, and they attack you, and it's disgusting.
Okay.
And now we are in a combat. So, combat tracker it is. Alright guys, for the people that are not aware, in this particular rule set, we don't use dice for initiative, but we use a regular dex of card. And whoever gets the highest card goes first. Alright.
Can you show us? This is one of the features that I have to admit I have never used, the ability to use decks in a campaign, because I remember there are many extension or rule set that use cards.
Yeah, there's 2 excellent ones on the Forge. I decked out, and I apologize. I almost just slipped in my mind at the moment. I apologize, but yeah, there's lots of potential there to build into your game.
Yeah,
but
for
please,
tarots
It is really-
or card games.
It is really good because you leave the jokers inside the deck. If a joker comes up, you get a +2 for the attack roll, and you go first of everyone. You can even interrupt other people, so it's really good. Now, I don't know if you can share the combat tracker.
I can see it, so I can share it.
Alright, so everybody can see that. I will now distribute the card and see who gets to go first. Alright.
Ooh.
oh. No. I didn't want the spider to get it.
Yes. First, the Giant Spider number 2 comes. Because he has an ace, and the ace is, as you can see, the highest that you could achieve, except from the Joker. All right, I assume that who was on the front opening up were the two people who were actually rolling for survival, and that will be Hark and Amiri.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I will say that for the moment, these two spiders are focusing on those.
Okay, fine.
Let's see. The first one, spider number 2, is trying actually to hit Amiri. 7. That's not really a very good roll, because when we are fighting, we don't have to hit the number 4. We have to hit the parry of the person that we are fighting. In this case, the parry of Amiri is 6.
Parry, okay, derived stats, okay.
Yes. So that's a hit.
Okay.
Please notice also that the spider is not considered a wild card, so he does not roll a wild die. He rolls only the die that he has in fighting.
Okay.
When you will roll for attack, you will see that you will roll also the wild dice all the time. In any case, this is actually a hit. And let's see the damage. The damage needs to go through the toughness of Amiri. The toughness of Amiri in this case is 8, and the spider roll only a 5. So it has hit you, but it did not manage to do significant damage.
Okay.
That is also another difference in between the most known rule set, for example, 5e. In Savage World, first you need to roll to see if you hit, and then even if you have hit, you still need to roll if you go through the threshold of the toughness to deal damage, okay?
What is the little number close to the toughness?
That is your armor that you are wearing.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Your toughness is 8, and of this 8, 2 is armor.
Okay. Okay.
This is why this is so, because many weapons actually have a piercing to the armor, so it doesn't get calculated. Okay.
You don't consider it. Okay.
Yes, it doesn't consider. Giant Spider number 3. That was his turn. And just for a change of pace, I think that Husk is going to be the guy that he really wants to hit. Let's see how he does. Nah, terrible. No, absolutely. Didn't go well.
Not on my watch.
Not on your watch. Mariziel.
I'm gonna rush in with my rapier and try to murder them.
Right, you're on a 7. I think that is enough to get through the trace, the parry of the spider. I assume that you wanna hit that one 7. Yes, all right. Let me just get the damage for you.
Skewer the spider.
You have shaken him. So, in Savage World, the regular enemies, like this spider, they just have 1 wound only. So it is enough to hit them once and they go down. But before you hit them, you need to shake them. So now you have managed to shake him. If you had obtained a raise on your damage roll, you would have also damaged him, and then he will be dead. But it was only a 7, so it was not.
If I remember, you can also shake an enemy not simply without damage, but also with maneuvers like psychological maneuvers to intimidate a target and you make it shaken.
It's a bit different. I think they've changed it. Now you can make him vulnerable or disabled.
Oh,
You can
okay.
give him a
It was an
-2.
older edition. Okay.
Yes, I remember.
And the spider can attack when he's shaken.
No, the spiders, when it will be his turn again, he will need to get out of shaken, and he will need to roll a spirit check to see if he can manage. If he does not get out of shaken, then he's at all effect stunned. And he
Okay.
cannot do anything.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
I will pass now to Amiri, and remember to target the spider that you want to hit, so that
Okay.
it is automatically calculated in the chat when you roll.
Control. It's also the control.
Oh, I can also drop the dice on the combat tracker, I think.
Correct.
Yes, but if you control left click on the enemy that you want to hit, you will recognize automatically his parry and his toughness, so you don't have to calculate manually.
Control and right click.
Left click to the enemy that you want.
Okay.
Yes,
I will attack Spider 3.
Yes.
And I will
So-
use my giant bastard sword.
that's a very good idea. So what you have to do is going under the combat and click the bastard's word. Yes.
7.
Shaken. You have actually now rolled the damage straight away, so I'm not calculating that. Before the damage, you need to roll to the left. The D8 side. Yep. You see, you've missed it. Didn't go
Okay.
very well. Now, if you want, this could be a nice opportunity to use a Benny to reroll your attack.
I do it.
Yes. So you take a Benny and you just drag it to the D8 and it automatically reroll.
Okay. He's using a Benny. So I have to click again on the D8.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Better.
You see, now it's it. And now you can click on the right and see how much damage you do and if you manage to actually deal damage or not.
So I have to click again on D8.
No.
The
Where
damage.
there is AP1, the damage to the right.
Where there are
okay.
the dices.
That one, exactly.
Okay.
That's it. You shake him very well.
Okay. Fantastic. So I my bastard sword. Okay.
Okay, now is the other giant spider, and I think that he's trying to target Merigel, as she's now have just joined the fight. And let's see what she can do. Giant spider
Flacial. Up out of the way.
raises up and tries to bite you with his fangs, failing miserably. And passing the token to Harsk now.
So, question, because I absolutely don't remember this. I assume I have the Giant Spider 3 in melee with me,
Yes,
melee range.
yes.
Do I have any disadvantage to shoot with my crossbow or not?
Yes, you do have. Therefore, it is much easier than switching up to the axe. You're already in melee. Because if you take a step back, also in these rules, there is a free attack. From-
And doing without the... But Giant Spider 3 is shaken. Can he attack me if he's shaken? If I...
No.
No. So I could take the step back and shoot.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
I'm gonna do that.
Okay, then I'll do that. I'll take my step back after Amiri shoot the spider, and I'll try to place a bolt.
Kill him off.
Yeah. So, target giant spider.
Number 3.
I'm
Yes.
targeting it. Yes.
Yes.
I do not have ammunition. I suppose I do have the ammunition.
Yes, you do have the ammunition. Let me
Okay.
just put them to you. I don't know.
Okay, I've placed it then.
Oh,
Ernesto took it.
you see, both of them explode and it's a hit with a raise. So when you hit with a raise, it will give you a d6 more for the damage.
Okay, let's see if... And I see that my crossbow has the quality of armor piercing 2. So
Yes.
I assume it deducts 2 points of armor.
Automatically. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whoa!
2 wounds. And like that, you killed him.
Yay!
All right. Now I will pass the ball to Seoni,
Okay.
and I will also mention one thing that not everybody might know. In this rule set, you can take up to 3 action every time you are in a combat round. Every time you take more than 1 action, you get a cumulative -2 penalty. So, for example, if you take 2 action, you take a -2 and a -2 to both action. If you take up 3 action, you will take a -4 and a -4. Okay?
And a -4.
And a -4. I assume that Seoni has his ideas very clear.
Well, I actually I don't 100%. So let me just clarify what you said. So I declare it at the beginning.
Yes.
And if I'm taking 2 actions, I just take -2 to each of those actions. Is that
That's
correct?
it. That's correct.
Okay.
If
Okay.
you
Well,
declare 3 action, then...
yeah. I'm just gonna. So whenever the giant spider is set up or stunned, or what did you use the phrase
Shaken.
or the
Shaken.
Shaken.
shaken? Thank you so much.
Shaken,
Does
not
any
stirred.
damage? Does any damage polish it off?
Yes, any kind of damage will kill him off straight away.
Okay, so I want to see that, and I'm just gonna drop a bolt.
All right.
Arcane Bolt, I assume.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, are you targeting which of the spiders?
Oh, I dropped it right on it in the combat tracker. Sorry about that.
Oh.
I don't, 1 second.
Yes.
There we go. I got it now, right? Did I target it now?
Now you got it.
Okay,
And
good.
then,
I don't know why it
under
was.
your character sheet powers
Yes.
bolt.
Yes.
It's a D8 and D6. Let's see.
Yeah.
Hit.
Yeah.
Roll the damage, which is next to him, and that's enough to kill him off.
Yay.
There we go. There we
Can
go.
you give
Yes.
us an insight about how magic works in this rule set?
Yes. Actually, now Brad's character has been using one PowerPoint. Therefore, I'm gonna modify his PowerPoint to 19 out of 20.
Sadly, I can't see and show the Seoni character sheet. So if you can
Alright, I will
explain
give
it,
explain
it's
quickly.
better.
Every character that can cast magic, which can be divine or arcane, start with a set amount of PowerPoint, which is something between 15 to 20 usually. Every time you cast a spell, you need to do an arcane roll check. If you pass it, that means if you get at least a 4, then the spell is cast fruitfully, and you can get the result and the effect of the spells. In the case of Seoni, the bolt effect is a 2d6 of damage. So when he rolled before, he did get quite a good result. He got a 5, and therefore he managed to cast it successfully, dealing 2d6 of damage to the enemy. If during the casting of the spell he will have achieved a raise, that means he will have rolled an 8 or more, he will have added 1d6 automatically to his damage.
Is the power wasted in the case of not getting a success?
Yes, it is.
So you cast it, you lose the power points, and the spell is not cast.
The spell is not cast.
Okay.
There is also the other possibility that you critically fail, which means that you roll a 1 on both your wild die and your skill die.
Snake eyes.
In that case, yes, in the snake eyes. In that case, you get a backlash, and you get a level of exhaustion substantial. That is what is gonna happen.
Okay. Sorry.
No, good that you ask, because this is not a very well-known rule set, so it is good always to point out the things. For the second round, I can see that the first one to go is Husk, and there is only one.
You chose to re-roll for each round.
No, I don't choose. The rule says that every round I give new cards, because you can get a Joker every round. That is what everybody is fishing for.
Okay, so you can plan in advance who goes first. Okay, it's interesting.
But it is very. But if you want, you can hold your action until a later time if you get first in order of initiative. For example, now you can wait and say, okay, I will go after Amiri, I will go after the Giant Spinter, after Marigel. You can always lower yourself as much as you want.
Okay, no. But I have other questions. I have the heavy crossbow, so it has a reload 2, so I assume it's a really big crossbow with a windlass, so it really needs a crank to reload. And reload 2 means I have to use 2 actions to reload the weapon.
Yes. And if you still want to act this turn, then you have to take the 3 action possibility. 2 actions for reloading and 1 for shooting.
Okay, I think I drop the heavy crossbow. Drawing the axe is a free action.
Yes, it's an interaction.
Okay, okay. I draw the hand axe, and I try to slash the giant spider. Let's see.
Let's see how this goes.
No, I
Do
think
you
I
want to use a belly?
Yes, I don't want to get people to get hurt. So if I
you can
drop the
drag
Benny
straight
on
away.
the hit dice, just dice, right? No, it's no.
You got a critical failure.
Oh,
My God! So this is another rule that is very savage in a Savage World rule set. Basically, if you get a critical failure, you cannot use any more Benny to reroll. You accept this result and that's it.
That's it.
So I will let you choose what has happened that you roll a critical failure. And how does it mechanically impact the rest of the round?
Do I have to be really savage? I mean, giving myself damage or...
It's up to you.
Okay, because my idea is that I've dropped the heavy crossbow, and by dropping it, the crank tangled on my foot. And so when I sprinted to slash the spider, I fumbled and dropped prone, really comically.
All right.
So I'm face down in the mud.
Okay. And this is gonna hurt your honor of a dwarf.
Yes.
All right. I pass the turn to Amiri. Let's see if she gets a little bit more luck than you did. Remember to target your enemy. Bam! Abbiamo perso.
No. It is.
Alright, it's a hit. It's a hit.
yay.
And now the damage. Cesare, we don't hear you
Muted.
at all.
Oh, scusate. Sorry.
It's okay.
I said I would like to use the two hands with the Basta Sword, and I will cause +1 damage.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I added it to the attack, so I think I should add also to the attack or not?
Let me check how it is coded. Well, no. It is just for the damage, so you can just put 1 in the modifier of the chat, and it will
Okay.
calculate 1 more damage. Now it's a hit.
Okay.
It was a hit anyway because
Yes.
Spider has parry 6.
Okay.
Ooh.
That's really, really very good. And the poor giant spider is a goner.
Okay.
And that's
Here we go.
I give my hand to the dwarf. Come on, guy.
Do
Give up.
not mention this. It didn't happen.
Yeah, mud bath's good for you occasionally.
Okay, that was quite a simple combat, but it was, I think, a very good. In a certain way, we could say that it is the first real combat that your characters got into their life, killing 3 spiders.
Okay.
And right, you can easily continue your travel back toward where you were going to, which is the famous shack. And you do manage to get to the shack without any further inconvenience. After about another 3 hours of trekking for a total of 4 hours of travel. I will say at the moment that it would be very nice if any one of you expert in this would like to take another survival check to see if
Yes.
there's something that you can take a look on the nearby of the shack.
Yeah.
Can I also ask for Merisiel to look with her elven eyes if she can spot anything suspicious while we have our hour on the ground?
I'll be looking for traps and
Nope.
whatnot.
This time, no.
But we got the barbarian rolling a 8.
8.
Okay, so we have a regular success by, and then we have also a raise, which is actually very good. All right, guys. So nobody gets surprised
Okay.
Wonderful.
because sprinting out from the shack is none less than what you think is actually the city wolf. He's actually not a werewolf, and you don't even think it is some sort of a druid that has become shapeshifter. It seems more like some sort of a
Please tell me an old man with a wolf pelt.
Lots of hair.
I would say it is. I can tell if maybe somebody of you can manage to roll me an occult check. That is exactly what I will actually call for. Occult.
I do
Well.
not have it.
Me too.
We
I
can
would gladly.
roll on an unskilled,
Gladly.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's see what Seoni does.
All right. I will definitely roll that.
Come on.
Yes, is enough. You are pretty sure that what you are facing is actually a quite huge specimen of a regular wolf that has actually achieved consciousness. By the way he's moving, by the way that he's charging at you, it is not a regular wolf. So let me just put it back.
So here we are again in combat.
Yep.
Well, do these happen often?
And now there is also no, it does not actually happen very often. And you might think about the confusion of the druid that you heard before. It is because sometimes pets or familiar that the druid have can become self-conscious.
Oh,
So it is not
crazy.
the druid. Yeah, it's not the druid itself that's shape-shifted, but probably his familiar. Or who knows? Maybe the original druid was the real city of the wolf of the city, and this is just what is left.
Now, did
I
it
want-
burst out to attack?
Yes, and I wanted to
Okay.
also say that we don't reshuffle the decks of cards. So the cards that have been spent before, we don't use them anymore until a joker comes. We shuffle the decks
okay.
only when the joker comes. And in this case, Husk has a joker.
Question. Did I have to declare that I was loading again the...
No, it's okay. I
okay.
assume that you are.
Okay, okay,
as a
I didn't
master.
declare it, so... Okay, so if I see it jumping off of the shack, I think the first thing to do is to see if a bolt can actually deal damage to this beast.
Alright. Do you want to take more than one action, considering that you have a bonus?
I don't, because I can't shoot twice with a heavy crossbow.
But you can shot with the crossbows, move toward him, and axe him. It's 2 action.
Okay.
If you want, or you can keep the +2 bonus and having only 1 action. So you can do 2 action with.
Yeah, I will take the +2 because I don't want to steal the show with too much. Okay, so I prefer to keep.
Okay.
No, we know your show when you go to the
you
mud.
know it. So I assume it's I have to take a +2, target the city wolf.
Yes. Even though I think that maybe it remembers you automatically because you draw a joker. Let's see.
Let's see if. So I remove the +2 and let's see if.
In case we calculated it. Yes, he did remember. 6. It's a hit.
Okay, good thing I kept the +2.
Yes.
And then I attack him.
Yes. And very well. Wound. Now, this specific enemy is a wild card as you are, and therefore he gets bennies as you do, and he also rolls 1 die more when.
Okay.
And
Because
he
he's
has
a
three hit points, right?
He has 3. He can take 3 wounds.
3 wounds.
That means that that once he takes the 4th, he's dead. So now we take only 1. That's it.
Okay.
Mary's your turn.
Okay, what size is Wolf?
It's
Is it
actually
size 3 or smaller?
a medium size
So
creature.
my Tanglefoot bag would work.
It actually would. Yes,
Great.
it will.
Okay. Oops. Let's see, I'll roll that on. Oh, I did that wrong.
Yeah. Yes. Very well. That worked. And now he is actually distracted. That means that he has a -2 on his attack for the next 5 rounds, which is quite good. Yes.
Very good.
Let me put the condition distracted on him.
Okay, I will use my bastard sword with 2 hands.
Okay.
Nine.
Yes.
So I
That's
hit.
another hit.
Isn't it?
Yes.
+1 and damage.
And
5.
do you want to reroll your
Yeah.
damage?
Yeah, I want.
Yes. Drag your Benny to the damage, and you should
On the
automatically
on the
Character sheet.
chat, on the character
Character
sheet.
sheet.
Okay.
You should see a Benny's on the top.
Yeah.
Drag it.
Okay.
Yes. Much better. What do you think?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. 12.
Okay. That will be 1 wound.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, he's taking it. That's it. And then it is his turn. He's rolling to getting out of shaken.
He's
out
not
of shaken.
Okay.
I guess that he's trying to get the barbarian, the Amiri, because it is just in front of him.
Yeah.
See how this goes. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Miss. But I can use a Benny to reroll for him if I want, and I will.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because he's a wild card. Still
Nope.
a miss. I have another Benny. Another Benny. Part of the game is actually making the enemies run out of Bennies as
Bennies.
well.
Let the
Yes.
Benny flow.
All right. Nope.
Nice.
Miss. I'm
Ah.
on short of Benny.
Amir is very fast.
Yes. And I've been very unlucky with my rolls also.
Also.
Finish him.
Let's see.
Fatality.
Yeah, my control click is not working unless I targeted it. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Got it. All right.
Yeah.
I want to try the I want to try the multiple. How much damage did it take? I want to try the multiple attacks on it if it makes it through it. So I'm gonna take a -2
Okay.
on a bolt.
Yes. You can roll it if you want with a Benny.
All right.
Do it.
Yeah, let's do it. So I just drag that right onto the
Bolt.
D8,
Yes.
or drag it onto the bolt right there, like that. Okay, perfect.
Yes. Now it's a hit.
All right, and then
You're shaking
Shake him.
him. Yes.
all right. So now I'm gonna grab another -2 for a second bolt. One from my right hand, one from my left hand.
Choo, choo.
Is it still targeted? Yeah. Okay, good.
Miss.
Okay, and I'll spend another Benny.
Wow.
Oh, you can't. Only one per round.
No, you can. You can.
Oh, okay, beautiful.
You can as many as you want, unless you
Yeah.
critically fail.
Like
And you just
now.
critically fail.
No.
Snake eyes.
Yes.
Oh.
When you
Man, oh,
critically fail,
my veins just like surge up on my left hand and like bust out my like elbow, and my middle fingernail bursts off.
Okay.
Wow.
So what happens now that you have been critically failed? You get 1 level of exhaustion. Fatigue is the first one. Let me just give it to you. There we go. And if you had any effects they will actually automatically stop, but you do not have any effect going. Okay, looks like we go for the third round. Let's see what's gonna happen. Amiri gets another Joker, and everybody gets a Benny.
Wow.
So
That's very good.
okay, I have one Benny, and what else?
+2 to
Okay.
attack.
You can choose to double to deal two attacks with no bonus, or one attack with a +2.
Okay, I will choose one attack +2.
Because he's already almost dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Okay. Combat Barbarian Sword with 2 hands.
Yes?
Oh,
No.
Benny,
But
Benny.
you have a Benny to reroll.
yeah.
A bit better.
That's okay.
Explosion.
Really
That's
better.
Oh,
Woo, woo, woo. Wow. It's a race. So now when you roll for damage, you get another d6 for the damage.
Okay. +1.
Slay him. Her. It.
No.
Shaken only.
Uh,
Somebody will give the last.
I would like to use my Benny to retry this roll dice.
But do you have another Benny still?
I have 2 other Benny.
All right, so you can reroll the damage as much as you want, unless you get 1. All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Better.
Okay. And this time looks like he's dead.
Yes.
time
Alright,
to
guys.
search the house.
Well, that was very quick thinking, and clearly the mind goes where the money are. And indeed, you are there for the money. And everything considered, it wasn't so much of a bad job for the money that you got, because you do find inside the house in the hands of a skeleton that has been there dead, gripping these things, what clearly is the object of your desire. So yes, the skeleton is in a corner and holding these scrolls, this parchment there.
Okay.
Right.
So,
Sad for him.
Okay.
But before just like walking up and claiming it, probably should do a little bit of check on the vitality of the skeleton. Can I give you an arcane check? And I guess it would be my closest thing would be occult. And I want to use a Benny on it just to make sure that I get a plus on it. Is that correct? 1 plus
Well, you
for a
can-
Benny?
No, you get a reroll if you don't succeed.
Okay, you do it afterwards? Alright. Okay.
Oh,
Explosion.
oh, keep going.
Wow. Oh.
Alright, that is really very good.
Mm-hmm.
You get to basically know that this one has been dead for many years.
Hmm.
There is no sign of vitality inside this skeleton, but you do notice, actually, even though it is not your skill of trade, that it has been injured to the chest by some blunt instrument. That is how probably he died.
Oh, okay. Alright, well then,
Blunt.
looking to the party, just making sure that they're cool with me claiming it. They want me to lift up the
no problem.
liturgy?
Grab it.
I would like to make another kind of check, if possible.
Yes, of course.
If there is some paper, something that could explain where did this wolf came from. Something that hints to the origin of this enemy. And because the scene is actually strange, because the blunt injury means it probably didn't die from the wolf. Okay, so
You take your time. You take your time to look. I will not even make you roll because
Okay.
you have all the time of the world. You're not under pressure. You can check the shack quite carefully, and you do find actually some notes and what is probably or should have been a diary, but it is written in a very terrible and broken common language, in which you seem to discern and understand the fact that basically this guy that is dead was indeed a druid, and his goal, his aim in life, he despised everything that was a civilization, and he wanted everything to be wild as possible, and that is why he was so much anger and focused to do so many bad things against the town of Falcon Hollow, because he could not bear this village in the middle of the wilderness that he considered to be the pure state of being. Yes. He then recorded.
And so he made the intelligent beast.
No, actually there is no mention about the intelligent beast in his diary, but Seoni rolls so well beforehand that it is common. It happens sometimes that these animals that were with him, they become sentient after he died. They take up maybe a little bit of his sparking of life and these kind of things. So that is exactly what happened. So you solve also this mystery.
I will look up at Amiri. Amiri, give me a hand. Yeah. We shouldn't let it rest inside this shack. Let's give him a proper burial on the ground, in the ground.
Okay.
Very kind. Very kind.
So I will help him to do this, and a little pray for the dead.
All right. So since you have this idea, I will grant to each one of you conviction, which is a rule that exists only for the fantasy ground, Savage World for Pathfinder. It is not in any other Savage World. This makes the game a little bit more epic. You have 1 point in your main tab. And it basically does give you 1 extra d6 for the whole round to roll for everything. So it's quite powerful. It's better than a Benny.
Yeah,
it's really powerful.
Round.
Yes, and it is what basically Brad had asked before. Can I get some bonuses to roll? Well, before you could not, now if you had to roll, you could, because you have conviction. You can spend a point for that. Okay? That was very honorable for you.
Thank you. I felt a little connection. I felt a little connection with this druid.
Of course, while they're burying the druid, I'm going to be checking out the house for any other goodies.
All right. Well, actually, there isn't much left, but you do happen to find a small stash of rough jewelry that was hidden somewhere. The jewelry is quite crude, but it is beautiful in its primitive state. So maybe it might not be worth 500 golden pieces, but still, you find it particularly charming. You can keep those one if you want, and they are basically earrings, 1 ring. There's like a bit of jewelry to the neck, and they all seems to have the blue color as their things in common.
Can I do an arcane check on it for her? I mean, an occult check on it for her?
Yes, you can. You can definitely call an arcane check. Please, how quick that will be in this game. We didn't really go very well.
Use a Benny.
Aha! You can use a Benny, yes. Yes, that went well. Actually, very good, Brad, because another rule in this rule set is that if you don't use the Benny, you lose them.
Okay.
Every time you start a session, you get renew all over. So if you just didn't use the session, they just be wasted. No, they are not magical. but they seems to be extremely well done, and probably if you don't want to keep them martial, they might fetch about 50 GP by themselves in a market.
She'll put it on, get all
Yes.
styled up.
That's it.
So,
Awesome.
You start your journey back to Falcon's Hollow. I guess that you want to visit Lauren to get the rest of the money.
Absolutely.
Right. So how much was left to pay off? Was it about 100 golden pieces? Yes.
yes.
So you go to see Laurel. She says, I don't speak very well. I got a sore throat.
Okay.
You might only need to chill after Friday.
I think he resisted till the very last minute with his cold.
No, he's snoring.
Okay.
He's not able to speak.
Is she trying to not pay us?
She's writing you something because she cannot express very well what she wanted to say.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
And she gives the paper to Seoni.
Okay, of course I give the 3 more silvers to the kids.
Let's you are
sorry.
now with Lauren. Yeah. Did you?
Nice one.
There you go. You just need the snare drum. Very nice.
Very nice.
Well, awesome.
Thank you.
It was a great session. Really
Well,
appreciate it. Really
no problem.
enjoyed the Savage Worlds and the bennies and everything. Really great. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I have to say that the automation of the of all the rule set are very useful when you play it, because the use of the Benny, you just drop the Benny on the damage or on the attack roll, and automatically it makes all the automation for you, and this is very good. Better than on the real table sometimes.
Yeah, but if I can add one thing, one thing that I like, I don't want to praise you too much because I have something that could use an improvement. But one thing that I like is you don't have to, you can, you don't have to. So you can use the automation.
Yes,
but you also can use it manually.
Yeah.
So if you want more tabletop feeling and on a gamey feeling, you can manually set the bennies, roll the dices without the automation. It's not mandatory.
I love
You can
that.
also give the cards manually if you want. You don't have to do it automatically. You can just pick them up.
It's a powerful feature because it's something that appeals to the core of the table. Some tables want to use all the automation, and others don't. Others just want to use maybe fantasy.
I love use it. I love use them.
I don't. I am
don't.
a manual game master. I use very few automation. Some are very good, but I use very few automation. But it's something that, for example, I use Fantasy Ground even when I play at the table.
Yeah.
Right. Like requested roles and stuff, for sure.
Yeah, because it's way easier to keep track of the NPCs. I can project the maps. I can let the players roll with physical dice at the table.
Sure.
I'm not.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And the best thing is our development team have some other really exciting things that are going to come up soon.
I can't wait if you want to drop. The bomb.
Yeah, that's a Doug job on the sneak peeks.
Anyway, Paolo, you have Alien roleplay behind you. That it's
everything behind me.
Very lovely with Fantasy Grounds.
Yes,
we have played because the mechanics of the help me, Flavio, the time passing, or the radar with the sound.
No. Okay.
Explain
Cesare.
you better than me.
Sì, Cesare, ti confondi.
Con Alien abbiamo giocato,
Sì,
no?
ti confondi.
Ok. Lo confondo?
Sì.
Boh.
It's okay, don't worry.
No.
Ok.
So, no. I know that there's something coming up that I can wait. That's Fabula Ultima.
Also,
yeah. We know that because it's an Italian game, so there are very strong rumors that it's coming for Fantasy Ground, but they are just rumors. Yes, only rumors.
Guys, please don't tease our
You may know
guest.
something I don't know.
No.
That happens a lot.
Appreciate it.
Is it time to say goodbye and to thank Brad and Paulette for being with us a couple of hours?
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you
And I
for
hope-
having me. Right.
It was a pleasure and a privilege for me to play this small session with you four guys.
Thank you.
Yes, forgive my
I hope
English.
we will do it again.
Yeah, why not? It will be amazing to have something regular going on. We need to organize it and check the possibilities of everybody. Yeah, that's it.
Just one thing, and if I may, I want to tell in Italian because I want to appeal to the audience. First, I'll say it in English so Brad and Paulette can understand. Remember that Fantasy Ground Italia has a Facebook group, and you should join the Facebook group, and you should subscribe to their YouTube channel. This video will be uploaded on their channel for VOD, and maybe more
on
will
our
come.
channel there are also some tutorials to use Fantasy Grounds.
Cesare made some tutorials in Italian for Fantasy Grounds, so you can check them on our channel, and I'll translate it in Italian. Ragazzi, ricordatevi che Fantasy Ground Italia ha un gruppo Facebook, andatevi a iscrivere al canale di YouTube di Fantasy Ground Italia, che sarà dove uploaderemo questo video, e speriamo che ne arrivino altri. E ricordatevi poi che invece sul nostro canale ci sono i video tutorial di Cesare fatti per Fantasy Ground, che sono l'inizio, le prime regole, le cose che servono per cominciare. Ok? So
Perfectly in time.
Yeah, spot on. Yeah. Really, 10 minutes is really spot on for an
Italian.
No.
It's really.
We really thank you again for letting this happen. Thank you, Paolo. Thank you for
Thank you.
choosing us for help you kickstarting this experience, this project. Yes, and we hope to see you all again. And we'll live with our catchphrase in Italian. That's it means it can roughly be translated with how can I say it? Role play it. You'll get through it. Yeah. So
Love it.
How is it in Italian?
in Italian is ragazzi, ruolate che vi passa.
Ciao a
See
tutti.
you.
Ciao ragazzi.
Bye.
Kiitos.
Bye bye.
Ciao, ciao.